And it must be a moment where you actually hope that she's going to win, given who her opponent is and what he's been saying about your country and relations between the two countries. Obviously, the famous, I'm going to build a wall, Mexican immigrants are rapists and murderers. What is your fear? What will happen to Mexico, do you think, if Donald Trump were to win?
Well, Christiane, as Mexico's Secretary of Foreign Affairs, we have a policy of not commenting on electoral processes from other countries, but we do have a policy and a responsibility to speak up when people, no matter who they are or where they are, attack and disparage our community. We have been very firm in condemning the rhetoric that talks about our community in the United States and about our country through a prism of bigotry, of intolerance, and of misinformation. Mexico and the United States have a strong relationship, a mutually beneficial relationship, and the Mexican immigrant community in the United States contributes every day with their hard and honest work to the prosperity of the United States.
Foreign Minister, if I might read, you just have been in the United States and you gave a major speech there, and you basically said, people, we are most definitely not the problem, we are part of the solution. You said you wanted to bust the myth that we do not steal jobs from the United States. How desperate are you to get that message across, and are you getting it across, do you think?
Well, it is an important message, Christiane, because it has to do, first of all, with reality and facts. The work of the immigrant community in the United States of Mexican origin creates and sustains 8% of the United States GDP. And our bilateral commercial relationship is responsible for generating and sustaining 6 million U.S. jobs. So in order for the United States to remain competitive and to continue to create better conditions for the American people, it is essential that Mexico and the United States keep working together on building those conditions. We are essential for their prosperity as they are for ours, so we are part of the solution. We are not the problem, and when you attack this relationship and our community in the United States, when you talk without information about our contribution to the development and growth of the United States, you're wrong, you ignore the facts, and you open up the space for intolerance, bigotry, and violence to spike.
What about the idea of immigration in terms of numbers? As you know, Donald Trump and, in fact, many Republicans have talked about being overwhelmed by illegals and all of that kind of stuff in very disparaging terms. Today, it seems, there's a net outflow of Hispanics and Mexicans from the United States.
That is correct. The immigration dynamics have changed significantly in the past years. Mexican immigration toward the United States has reached net zero a couple of years ago, and in fact is starting to become negative. We are receiving more Mexicans coming back to Mexico than Mexicans going to the United States. We are also working together with the United States and with countries in Central America to address the root causes of migration.
We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. Yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
America went into a major mobilization, revived its defense industries, And we saw the civilian economy of America more and more skewed through the 50s. Already in Eisenhower's time, he could see it coming, that you were getting a larger and larger defense military component of the economy, which, unlike the rest of the economy, was very, very centrally organized about lobbying for more and more new weapons. It was the political skills of this military-industrial complex, which I think Eisenhower was really warning us about, and rightly. There is a military-industrial complex. Today, we see a situation where the civilian economy is really in tatters, and most of our civilian production has gone overseas to third world countries. What do we export? Our biggest export practically is garbage, but apart from garbage, we export military equipment. We have a special act which subsidizes, makes it possible for countries abroad to buy our armaments because it's too expensive to produce them for one country only. So we have become a very efficient military-industrial complex, but the civilian economy is only a ghost of what it used to be, and this has terrible consequences for democracy because it means that the power of this lobby is now sort of dominating what goes on in Washington.